Thanks for tuning in to watch The Ordinary Filmmaker. It's Friday. Yes, it's Friday, November the 12th, 2021. We've got some news for Panasonic GH fans. According to Nakashita, the Panasonic GH6, along with two lenses, has been registered by a Russian certification body. Now, what does this mean? Well, for those of you that aren't familiar with the processes, once we get wind of a certification, whether it be Russia or anywhere else, that usually means an announcement is imminent, usually within 2 to 4 weeks, although it can take up to 3 months. Now let's first of all hit that 2 to 4 weeks time period. It is possible we could get an announcement sometime between now and the end of November. But once we get outside of November, I can't remember a single camera body that's been announced, let alone released, in December. It's just too busy of a time from Black Friday onwards, or in the US from Thanksgiving onwards, which is right around Black Friday, it's that same week. We usually don't get any announcements whatsoever. We might get firmware updates, we might get a lens here and there, but a major body, that's unusual. So what are we looking at, about 6-7 weeks until we hit the new year? Now, once we hit January, not the first week of January, but usually the second week of January, announcements start to drop. We saw this year with the Sony Alpha 1. It was around the 10th to the 14th. And then, of course, the previous year we had the Canon 1DX Mark III. So January is a time where we do get announcements, as is February, as is March and April. And 4/3 Rumors, or 43rumors.com, has also said that they kind of expect it to be around, I think it's the March, is it March or February that they were saying? Do I still have that up here? February, March of next year. And it's definitely possible. Let's look at what we've had over the last couple of weeks. Back on October the 27th, we had a much anticipated announcement by Panasonic that didn't deliver that much anticipated announced Panasonic GH6. And then, of course, this week on November the 9th, we had another announcement. A lens, a nice lens, a prime, a 35mm, an f2.8, but it isn't what all of us are looking for. I mean, that Panasonic GH6 has been in development for so long. I'm so looking forward to seeing this camera. But it just seems like, you know what it feels like? It feels like, have you ever watched a soap opera where you can be watching it, you can miss a month, come back, and really nothing has changed? That's what the saga of the GH6 seems like. We get this slow drip of news, development announcements, and etc. But this, a certification, this is pretty significant. At the very least, this means we're going to get an announcement within 3 months. I don't think it's going to be within this year. I really don't. But I wouldn't be surprised. I know 4/3 Rumors thinks it'll be February, March, but I wouldn't be surprised if they hit strong in the new year with an announcement. That gives enough time to go by. People have gotten through Christmas. We've got the World Juniors Hockey Tournament that goes from the end of the year into the next year. We've got New Year's out of the way. People are going back to work. And so right around the second week of January is when I could expect an announcement. Now, I could be wrong. This is just speculation, but this is what the data is telling us. These are what the data points are telling us, is that when we see a certification like this, it's usually 2 to 4 weeks, but in this case, because we're right at the butt end of a year, I don't think we're going to get an announcement until January at the earliest. And I hope I'm right. I hope 4/3 Rumors is wrong, because that means we get it sooner, right? And I also would like to see a bit more rumors coming out to kind of get us prepared for what this announcement's going to be. But what does this mean to you? I know many of you are frustrated, but a lot have said, and here's the thing too, like with the Panasonic Z9, the Nikon Z9, on the video I put out last night, this one here, take a look at the comments in this video. So many people waited patiently, hoping that Nikon would deliver something really amazing, worth them staying and not switching over to Sony or Canon. I see so many comments like this, and with the Z9, so many people are excited. We're talking about hobbyists, people who own Z6, Z7 are jumping up to the Z9. These are not just professionals. We have a lot of hobbyists and people who just shoot to make a little bit of money, not what we would consider professionals. And I hate that term professional, because it's like official. It has no meaning whatsoever. I usually like to look at the term professional as meaning, well, you obtain a decent amount of income from it, but forget that term. We are all creatives. We all love photography and videography. And the Panasonic GH6, I'm really curious to know what it's going to be like. They've already, in the development announcement, they've already given us a whole bunch of information about internal 10-bit 422 4K 60, a lot of really great frame rates and resolutions on the video side of things. But that's just a teaser. I want to see the full specs. What do you think we're going to get in the full specs? What would it take for you to be really happy about the GH6? What could Panasonic do to completely make you head over heels excited, like we're seeing people were with the Canon R5 when it came out, and like we're seeing right now with the people excited about the Nikon Z9? What, as a GH5 owner, GH5S, or even a GH4 or 3 owner, what could the Panasonic GH6 do for you that would make you go, wow? And what price point? And what price point would excite you? Now, Nikon with the Z9 came out and said, look, we're not going to hit that $6,500 price point. The 1DX Mark III, $64.99. The Sony Alpha 1, $64.99. The Nikon Z9, $54.96.99. Essentially $5,500. The Panasonic GH6 is rumored to be coming in right around $2,500. And unlike 3 or 4 years ago, that's a very crowded space for cameras. We have a lot of full-frame, serious full-frame cameras. The recently announced Sony a7 IV, the Canon R6, and a whole slew of other cameras. So if Panasonic is hitting that $2,500 price point, what does Panasonic have to do right in the GH6? It's not that the GH5 has aged badly, it's that the competition has gotten a whole lot better. And you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to get into this us versus them, and that Panasonic makes better than this, or Sony's better, or Nikon's better. We are all us. We are all content creators. We are a community of people, and I, being mostly a Canon shooter because that's what I've invested in, can look at the Nikon Z9 and say, wow, I'm excited by this camera, and I truly am. Like I can look at the Sony Alpha 1 and say, wow, there's a powerful camera, and like I'm looking to the Panasonic GH6 to deliver capabilities and price points that make me go, wow, I'm impressed. Now, if Panasonic wanted to pull a Nikon, they would release the GH6 at $1999, $95. Will they do that? What do you think? Oh, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. I personally take it as a pat on the back, a job well done. It encourages me to get up early like I'm doing right now to record these videos, but also it helps this channel grow. And it's announcements like this, it's this kind of news that really gets me excited because I love camera technology. I love technology that improves our lives. And as I talked about in this video last night about the Nikon Z9, I talked about my experience with technology going back to the 80s with the Amiga and how that computer helped hone my creative skills in terms of video and stills. So if you're interested in that history, my history, go and watch that video. After, I think it's about 3 or 4 minutes, I get into that. The Panasonic GH6. I'm super excited by it. I just don't know what they're going to do with it. The leaked specifications from the development announcement look really, really good, but there's a whole lot missing there. Just a certain set of specifications doesn't tell the full story. What about autofocus? What about price point? What about compared to the competition? There's so many things here, and I think autofocus is important. And I'm not talking about contrast detect versus phase. I'm talking about what Nikon did with their Z9, planes, trains, and automobiles, birds, animals, dogs, cats, pets. If you look at the list of things it does in their spec sheet, it's just ridiculous. It's like several lines long. So we'll just have to wait and see. I don't think it's going to come this year. I mean, we've already had 2 announcements, one this week where they could have done it, one 2 weeks prior to that on the 27th, or a week and a half. So I really don't see we're going to get anything this year. I think, honestly, I really think a January announcement, that's when we can start to get excited. As soon as I subscribe, because as soon as I hear anything else about this, I'll publish a video and let you guys know. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. We'll see you again soon.